So for ISTE number 7, Digital Citizen Advocate, I'm going to go ahead and show you a few pictures, which might seem a little bit out of place, but I'll explain a little bit further. So for the first picture, it looks like a random picture of food, which it is food, but what that is, that's the culmination of a lesson that I do with fourth graders. This goes along with the pumpkin rolling event that we do in early November. Leading up to that event, I do various activities with various grade levels. And this is an example of the lesson I did with fourth grade. So I work with fourth grade, and I met with them during library class to talk about research skills, specifically Google searching, how to do an appropriate Google search, how to use quotations, how to use filters, and also how to analyze results, how to make sure that they're not clicking on an ad, or how to make sure they're not clicking on something that's sponsored that might not be the best for their research. So we actually did a research lesson. I had students look for pumpkin recipes, and they then filled out a Google form using the URL of recipes they thought looked tasty. And based on the most popular results, we made baked goods. We worked with the baking club here at school. And the day of the pumpkin rolling event, we ate our baked goods. So that was the result of a Google search lesson. So that goes along with substandard D, because I talked to them about how to protect their personal data within that lesson. But really, I told them also how to protect the division data, because their accounts are tied into our school division. Next to that, you'll see a picture of some students that are working on the floor with an after-school program called Technology Club. And in that club, we used Bloxels, which is an app on iPads, which you can no longer find. It's an old app, which has since been updated. But what they do is they use this app on an iPad, and they can build entirely through the app. But I do have physical kits of cubes, and they're different color cubes, and the students can arrange them on a plastic grid and take a picture with the iPad, and it converts it to a digital video game that they can then animate and move around and change. And it's a pretty incredible program. But when we are using that Technology Club, I go over a couple different substandards, one of them being B, because we talk about a healthy balance of technology. But we also talk about C and underlying assumptions. We can't just assume, that everyone who plays our game or everyone that plays their game will know to go this way or go that way. They have to put in maybe checkpoints, or they have to make the level a certain way so that it kind of lends a player to go a certain way. So Technology Club was something we did. It was voluntary for grades 3 through 5, and it was after school every other week from October till April. And in the final meeting, I actually invited parents to come and play the video games that their kids created, which ended up being really creative and really complex. Underneath that, I have a screenshot of the AGR Bulldog Fun Run website that I created. This was primarily for parents to use for information about the Fun Run, the date, how to donate, things like that. But I did also include on there videos of our staff that talked about being awesome, genuine, and responsible, AGR, which are the letters of our school. And that promoted, fostered a culture of respectful online interactions, but it was also reaching out to families. But it was also for teachers and students as well. Below that, I'm now shifting kind of into, for the following artifacts, the division substandard tie-ins. So the first one you will see is a screenshot of a Google folder of what we call ITRT blitzes. Now, we call it a blitz because the 6 of us as ITRTs get together as a group once a month and visit a particular grade level. And we all do the same lesson at the same time in one school. So what we do is we'll all get together as a group of 6 of us, and we'll all go to one school in 5th grade, for example, and we'll all teach an internet safety lesson. Then we leave that school, we all go as a group to the next school, and we get all the 5th graders at that school. So essentially, we get every elementary 5th grader over a span of 2 days. We have too many schools to get it done in 1 day, so we actually do it over 2 days. But every month we will meet with a different grade level, and we will talk about internet safety, or we will talk about coding. But we do blitzes twice a month, and that's a screenshot to show that we, I'm sorry. And for substandard, that is D, because we're talking how to protect their personal data. But it's also how to improve their communities and address online challenges. So that ties in with a lot of substandards. Below the Blitzes artifact, you will see a Google slide about phishing emails. So a couple years back, our division worked with a company to send out a fake phishing email, and they wanted to test out our staff to see if they would essentially fall for a fake email. And we did. We fell for it at an alarming rate. Our division tasked the ITRT group with developing a professional development to train teachers how to recognize emails that aren't legitimate, what kind of flags to look for to help improve on that concern. And then below that is a screenshot of a document that is approved software. So teachers will often look for ideas on Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram. And when they do that, the things that they find are not always the safest or the most secure. So in order for teachers to be able to use that software, they should run it by our group to look at the privacy pledge and the privacy policy to ensure that it's safe for teachers and also students to use to protect the integrity of our division. So there's a form that teachers fill out. Once they fill it out, it comes to us as a group. And every month when we meet, we go through those requests. And as a group, as an ITRT group, we all look at the privacy policy to ensure that it is safe. And if it isn't, we list why. Or if there's any limitations, we list why.